Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax 26. We are on day 14, and we are on match number 4 out of 5 in today's B Block Series matches. And Kenny Omega and Yuji Nagata are two guys that have had very interesting and very different tournament paths. Kenny Omega losing his first match, Yuji Nagata winning his first two, but those records have absolutely flip-flopped because now Kenny Omega is sitting at 3-3, while actually no, you know what? They haven't completely flip flopped because they're both 3-3 now that I'm looking at it. But regardless, obviously they both started in different ways and they've had different paths to get here. But after today, one of these men will be less under 500. They will be with a losing record, while the other has a winning record. Unless, of course, we get a tie, but that's probably not going to happen. So let's see. John, what do you think so far?
I mean, partner, I think we've got a very interesting contrast here because you have Yuji Nagata, the veteran.
Yeah.
Very soft-spoken, very respectful. You have Kenny Omega, who to me the last few years, his stock has been steadily rising, and I don't know if it's ever been higher than it's been right now, but Kenny Omega putting a lot of pressure on himself with the inflammatory remarks he made at the press conference saying, I know what you, and I'm going to use expletives here to quote Kenny Omega, he said, I know what you fuckers think of me, but I'm going to go in and I'm going to dominate because that's what I do. And Kenny Omega now at 500, I wouldn't exactly call that domination, but he could get back in the green with a win here today.
You know what, John? It's not domination, but it's still only one match below the best record in this block. If he wins this match, he joins the likes of Elgin and Yano and Shibata and Nakajima at 4-3, which is kind of where you want to be right now. The only man in this block with the potential to have a better record than that is Naito, and Omega has a match with Naito before the end of the tournament where he could potentially even that out if he defeats him.
So, partner, what you're saying is, to put it succinctly, is if Kenny Omega wins this match, he'd really be nipping at the heels of Naito, who's currently kind of the block leader here.
Well, he's not even necessarily the block leader because he could potentially lose to Evil today. If he loses to Evil, there is no clear-cut block leader because there's a big jumble at 4-3 and nobody above that.
So these last two matches, of course, of great significance. Let's get right to it, partner.
And yeah, again, like I said, Yuji Nagata has the same record though, so he could be joining the ranks at 4-3 if he pulls out this victory. But no matter what happens, we're about to find out the answer to all these questions. We have our New Japan World Player set to 2 hours and 19 minutes exactly. That's 2:19:00. And we will be hitting the play button on go. 3, 2, 1, go. Referee checking Blue Justice, the man who probably doesn't like the Bullet Club's antics, but hopefully doesn't let that cloud his judgment of Kenny Omega as a person.
You saying that actually brings up another interesting contrast. Yuji Nagata nicknamed himself Blue Justice, whereas the Bullet Club, of which Kenny Omega's the leader, always has kind of like an outlaw vibe to me. You know, like they're outside the law. So we'll see if Yuji Nagata can dole out some justice to Kenny Omega here, as we got the lockup.
Oh, immediately into the waist lock here.
Yeah, Nagata very quick on the transition, but Kenny Omega now with the wrist lock. This is going to be a very interesting matchup here to me. Again, a lot of pressure on Kenny Omega. Can he carry it upon his shoulders? Nagata reversing the wrist lock there. Nagata very technically sound.
Yeah, I was just going to say, usually Nagata is not fancy. I don't think anyone would describe him as fancy or a finesse kind of wrestler at all. He is technical, he is precise, but he knows how to get down and dirty with the best of them.
Absolutely. And partner, one common aspect of our conversations concerning Kenny Omega and his tournament matches is how impressive he's been since moving up in weight classes, and he missed that back elbow there as Nagata now laying in the forearms. I mean, Kenny Omega personally has been blowing my mind in his last few bouts.
Well, it's worth pointing out that his former tag team partner in the Golden Stars, Kota Ibushi, did the same thing last year and didn't do so well.
Exactly. Kenny Omega can outperform him here, as Nagata just did multiple kicks to the leg there, getting Kenny Omega down, and now Kenny Omega staggering, trying to create distance between himself and Blue Justice. There's a forearm there by Nagata.
In fact, John, Kota Ibushi did so poorly in G1 last year. He's now, 1 calendar year later, participating in a cruiserweight tournament in North America.
Hey, not bad. Kota Ibushi's certainly not doing bad for himself at all, and Kenny Omega
No, but my point is that he felt like a shark in a small pond, and as it turns out, he was just a really big fish in a small pond. But when he moved up into the ocean, the actual sharks ate him alive. So now he moved back into the large pond.
And there you go. I once heard a saying, some people can't hang in Vegas, but you can. And Kenny Omega now rolling the big dice. He can really be a part of a very, very significant pool in this
Oh,
tournament.
and Omega using the Nakajima strategy here of targeting that leg. Nakajima, Evil, Naito, all guys that have targeted the leg of Nagata. And now Kenny Omega joining those ranks. Nagata, in the meantime, sees Kenny Omega has a bandage on his left shoulder. Maybe wants to take advantage of that.
And partner, I think you'd agree with me when I tell you Nagata, even when you pick apart a wounded body part, Nagata very resourceful. So Kenny Omega can't take that wounded limb for granted, and he's biting at it here.
Biting it.
Kenny Omega very unorthodox. Some would say he's crazy. I don't think he's crazy. I just think he's very cunning to a chaotic degree.
He wants people to think he's crazy because crazy is intimidating.
Exactly.
It's a mind game.
And now clubby blow straight to the back of Nagata. And a knife edge chop there.
I don't think Nagata appreciates this much.
I don't think he appreciates it either, partner, but what can he do about it? He's got a bad wheel here, and Kenny Omega in the dominant position. Nagata favoring the chest, and another clubby blow to the back. I like how Kenny Omega is alternating, attacking Nagata from all sides and all angles. It almost makes Nagata feel helpless as he delivers a forearm there. Another forearm. Kenny Omega though with a kick right to the bad leg. Oh, wait a minute, we've seen this here, the shin breaker.
Shin breaker.
And he does a traditional one there. Remember the ones that he did to Shibata were just crazy. He did one driving him on a table on the outside, and then he took him from one corner into the other. But with Nagata, he actually got spared a little bit.
Maybe an inverted figure four here. Yeah, inverted figure four.
Look at that, and even mock Nagata's pose before doing it, the Blue Justice pose.
That's a move that you don't really see very often. A lot of people that do the figure four do the more traditional version, but this is very inverted, very backwards, and it actually almost helps to create a little bit more leverage for Omega because it allows him to really crank on the straightened leg and really pull on it, whereas normally in order to crank on it, you have to raise your hips up, which is a little bit more energy needing to be used. Not only that, but this is almost impossible to reverse the leverage of.
Exactly. So Kenny Omega, ingenious in choosing which submission to apply to Nagata's legs here. Nagata trying to reverse the pressure, but it may be an error that's futile. And now look at Kenny Omega there. I think he got a grapevine there, making it even worse for Nagata, but Nagata gets to the ropes.
You see what I mean, though? You'll notice Nagata rolled over onto his stomach, and normally in a traditional figure four, that would be causing pain to the person that originally set up the figure four. But because Kenny Omega used the inverted variety, Kenny was in no pain whatsoever.
Exactly. Excellent point there, partner, is Nagata now trying to maintain vertical, and he does. But I'll tell you, he's really favoring that leg. There's another forearm there to Omega, a second forearm, but Kenny right back to the leg, and again to the leg, and just kicks him so many times in the leg, Nagata collapses. Now what's Omega thinking about? Going to shoot him off the ropes. Nagata reverses the Irish whip. There's a kitchen sink. Right on the money. But Nagata immediately collapsing, partner.
Yeah, we need to take into account Nagata used his bad knee to do that kitchen sink, to execute it. And it might have been painful to Kenny Omega's stomach, but Kenny Omega hasn't been getting his stomach worked on over the course of the last 3 weeks.
Exactly. And Nagata, these measured kicks, trying to get all the power he can behind them. There's a third kick. Yeah, Omega goes down.
I've actually brought this up before. You can throw kicks with a bad knee. It hurts a little bit, but what you can do with a bad knee is throw knees, and that's what that kitchen sink earlier was.
Exactly. You know? Nice boot in the corner by Nagata. Now,
exploder T-bone.
Exactly, and now he's going to go into the lateral press here. 2. Kenny Omega kicks out. I don't know if it was wise for Nagata not to hook the leg. I think I would have...
I don't know if that made a difference. It seemed to me like Kenny didn't even use his legs to kick out. It was just all shoulder.
That is true. Kenny Omega has definitely gained a lot of power since moving up in weight. And now Nagata going to try a suplex. Kenny Omega lands on his feet. And again goes to that bad leg. And another time. I mean, Kenny Omega is just persistent with his
Actually, John, I don't know if you noticed, but he actually went to the good knee first to get Nagata to turn around and then targeted the bad knee.
Yeah, very smart there by the cleaner. And now look at this, the wraparound. And then a kick to the knee again there. Kenny Omega is just... And now could it be the Kotaru Crusher? And he got it. He got it. Hooks to the leg ear. 2. Nagata kicks out. Kenny Omega has put together quite a game plan. And
this is a very important match. And I'm sorry to cut you off, John, but this is a very important match because, again, even though the loser of this match will still be in the race, if Naito wins tonight, it really does become important to win this match specifically.
Exactly. Moonsault there. Kenny Omega might win this match. And Nagata kicks out.
Impressive moonsault by Omega. He can do just about anything. He has power. He has submissions, as we saw earlier with the inverted figure 4. He's a decent striker. And I shouldn't even say decent. He's a really solid striker. Above average for sure. And, we just saw the high flying aspect with that moonsault. He can literally do anything. He can be kind of... And I know that it's almost ironic or coincidental that he actually replaced him as the leader of the Bullet Club, but Kenny Omega is very similar in skill set to AJ Styles. He's even bigger than AJ, though, which makes him even more impressive, I think.
And now Nagata tried for the boot. Kenny Omega caught it. And then that step up Enziguri there. Dragon suplex, snap, dragon suplex by Omega.
I love Kenny Omega, but anytime he does that step up Enziguri, it reminds me of the time he did it to a 9-year-old girl.
2, and Nagata kicks out. That was the first V-trigger of the match, and I remember that YouTube clip. And Nagata now struggling to get back.
He hit that Enziguri on that little girl, and that crowd almost killed him.
Yeah, Kenny Omega. I love.
Or rather, they thought that he killed her.
Right. I love what a scumbag Kenny Omega is. Doesn't even take mercy on a child. And now another V-trigger. And Nagata just collapsed. But look at that, though.
But
falls out of the ring.
Exactly. Veteran instinct of Nagata rolling out of the ring. Referee might just start to count, but that gives Nagata 20 seconds to regain his consciousness rather than just 3.
I mean, partner, you're not wrong with anything you said, but I don't know if it was so much veteran instinct as much as Nagata's equilibrium just being shot after that knee made contact. Oh, God! Another exploder, this time to the outside floor there. Kenny Omega writhing in pain.
Instinct. I want to emphasize I said instinct because I don't think Nagata even knew he was doing it, but instinctually, sometimes these veteran wrestlers that have been doing it for 20 plus years will do that without even realizing it.
Right. And now Red Shoes begins the count.
I think that was more instinct than Nagata really thinking, oh, I've got to get out of the ring.
Exactly. And this is a bad place in my mind for Kenny Omega to be. I mean, really bad place for either guy to be. But, I mean, Nagata had the last offensive maneuver, and Kenny Omega thought he had this match well in hand. Nagata back in the ring first, Kenny Omega having to use the rope to get back in the ring. That exploder to the floor rocked Kenny Omega. And now what can Nagata make of it? Kenny Omega still on the apron. Nagata forearm to the face there of the cleaner. Omega responds. Nagata,
I don't know how smart it would be for Nagata to knock Kenny Omega off the apron completely. I don't know if that would be the best of ideas.
I mean, he's clearly got, Kenny Omega here. Could it be a vertical to the outside? Nagata, though, able to stop it. Now look at this, the neck breaker. The rope-hung neck breaker.
Now maybe he can start emphasizing or really focusing on Kenny Omega's neck and set him up for that backdrop driver with the bridge.
And we'll see here, Brainbuster.
Wow, that Brainbuster drove Kenny Omega's head and neck straight into the canvas, and there's the count 2. Omega kicks out, but the Brainbuster immediately after that neck breaker, I'm shocked Kenny Omega was able to kick out of that.
I'm shocked as well, but Kenny Omega proving tougher than a man he actually beat in this tournament, Hanma, who lost to a Brainbuster earlier. Kenny Omega able to kick out. It's going to be a backdrop driver here. Kenny Omega with the elbow strikes to the back of the head. And another forearm there by Yuji Nagata. Kenny Omega, though, kind of eating it a little bit in response to the forearm of his own, but Nagata, though, not to be deterred. Kenny Omega keeping up the strikes here. Who's going to win out in this strike battle? Another forearm by Nagata. He's inviting Kenny, saying, come on, give it all you got. Kenny Omega with another forearm. Kenny Omega, he has to go 4-3 here. If he loses this, I mean, that would really be embarrassing to his pride, to his ego. And man, but Nagata's one tough customer, I'll tell you now. The slabs to Omega, and then the falling wheel kick there. And I think that was a pump kick by Omega.
I think it was another V-trigger, John.
It might have been another V-trigger, partner. I really couldn't tell from my camera angle, to be honest. Kenny Omega, though, calling for the end. It must have been a V-trigger in that case. Oh, look at the counter, though, by Nagata into the Shirome armbar. Omega was thinking one-winged angel. Nagata had great awareness, knew what his positioning was, and knew he could transition it into a Shirome armbar. What a counter.
Yeah, and there you see the eyes rolling to the back of the head. Kenny Omega, though, getting a little bit overzealous, going for that one-winged angel. Maybe he should have gone for a pin after the V-trigger.
Maybe he should have, partner. I mean, those knees, it's not like they're light strikes by any means. I mean, they will knock you out.
And now Kenny Omega got to the ropes, but he lost to Yoshihashi on day one because he was so eager to get that one-winged angel in that he forgot to try and pin him after the second V-trigger.
He lost to Shibata most recently because he really wanted the one-winged angel, left himself vulnerable to a sleeper hold counter. And
exactly.
Now Nagata doing the arm breakers over the shoulder here. Very smart by Yuji Nagata.
You know Kenny Omega is a prodigy, though, when he never really loses because he gets beat. He always loses because he beats himself.
Exactly.
You know, he always, you know, it feels like so far at least every loss that Kenny Omega has taken in this tournament, which granted it's only been 3, but it feels like they've all been because Kenny Omega did something unreasonable or that would have been, you know, something that he couldn't really justify if asked about it.
Right. Now Nagata, their forearm, another forearm there to Omega. Omega, I think that was just a straight up slap. Another slap there.
Slapping him.
A forearm.
You can see the sweat exploding off Nagata. Kenny Omega might be going for a sunset for the powerbomb here.
If he hits it, that could do it. Nagata trying to hang on. Omega,
successfully hanging on.
Look at this, though.
Could maybe the one-winged angel here.
Could this be the one-winged angel? Omega wanting to set up? No.
Nagata fighting out of it. Oh!
Omega hanging on. Oh, the knee to the midsection. And I believe that was an Enziguri there by Nagata.
It was so impressive that Nagata can still get those jumps.
Oh, and Omega's still countering.
I think that was another V-trigger, and there's another V-trigger.
And another exploder. That was a T-bone. And another V-trigger,
another V-trigger. Kenny Omega is a monster. 1, 2. No, Nagata kicks out.
And I think Kenny Omega thought he had the match won there. He did not. He's got to go.
He did think he did, but no. And now I think he might actually get this time.
One-winged angel. He got it. It's over.
Yeah.
Justice has been averted by Kenny Omega. 3 count.
And the one thing we can say about Kenny Omega, even if going for the one-winged angel isn't always something that he should do, isn't always something that you would advise him to do, when he does hit it, the match is over.
Exactly.
Nobody kicks out of the one-winged angel ever.
Exactly. And now Kenny Omega, and more importantly, Bullet Club fans rejoice. Kenny Omega is 4-3. He's in the pool now. He's back in the hunt.
Absolutely. And Nagata, meanwhile, is 3-4. He's going to have a bit of a rough time if he wants to still win. And obviously he wants to, but if he actually wants a chance, he's going to have to win his last 2 matches and hope that he gets a lot of help from a lot of people that are 4-3 right now because, I mean, I'm looking and Kenny Omega makes 5. There are 5 people that are 4-3 right now. Nagata is not in great position to win this block.
Certainly not, but Kenny Omega is. He's back in the hunt here. He still may be able to clean out his block. Kenny Omega, the one-winged angel, does the damage. 3rd time's the charm, as we only have 1 tournament match left now. The main event. Los Ingobernables de Japón stablemates collide. It's Naito versus the King of Darkness, Evil.
Stay tuned.